So yesterday was Thirsty Thursdays, and today is Famous First Fridays. So on Fridays, I want to share some lessons, things I've learned from reading a book that's long since out of print. It's called Uncommon Friends, written by James Newton, and the subtitle is Life with Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Harvey Firestone, Dr. Alexis Carrel, and Charles Lindbergh. Now, I think that these are very famous people who were really pioneers, explorers, inventors, first-timers. And so these first-timers have some interesting, they have some uncommon traits. So I'm going to be talking about the uncommon traits that I'm observing as I'm reading the book Uncommon Friends. So what I want to do is share a bit of an excerpt from the book here, and then I'm going to comment on it. So James Newton is kind of talking here about how he would meet on a regular basis with Thomas Edison. And he says, before long, the Edisons were treating me like a member of the family. I would go over to the house mid-mornings after Mr. Edison had returned for a break from his laboratory, where he went to work very early. I'd find him sitting in the living room with the 4 New York papers that he read every day scattered around him. He could read through a newspaper at astonishing speed, and he had a photographic memory, so he could repeat to me whole passages at which he had only glanced. Now, that skill enabled him to read widely throughout his life, despite his long hours in the laboratory. Occasionally, we'd sit out on the lawn, and he'd talk. It was difficult to talk back to him because of his deafness, but he would talk, and I would listen, just the two of us. I was having my troubles with my mortgages and the development of Edison Park. The Florida land boom had begun to bust. He told me the troubles he'd had with finances in early years. I never understood the humbuggery of bookkeeping, he admitted. I kept only payroll accounts. I hung a record of payments on one hook and one of expenses on another hook, and I generally gave notes in payment. I'm assuming those are promissory notes. When I got notice that a note was due, I'd hustle around and raise money. And then he says something really interesting here. The secret of staying afloat, Jimmy, is to create something that people will pay for. I didn't work at inventions unless I saw a market demand for them. I wasn't interested in making money as much as in being the first to invent something society needed. But if you do that, the money comes in. So if you're the first to create something that society needed, the money comes in. Obviously, that was very true for Edison, and he had a very powerful career. Now, the thing that I take from this is that Edison was a voracious reader, and because he was so well read, he could identify trends and opportunities. So I guess I'm curious, as in if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or you want to be, what are you reading? I've been curating for 6-7 years, and Flipboard, however long Flipboard's been out, I've been curating content from Flipboard as well as into my Instapaper, articles and stuff that I find interesting. So when I'm really looking for a solution to something, I dig into that and I can search through the article archive to find that. I don't have Edison's photographic memory. But if you're well-read, I think this is the interesting thing, if you're well-read, and you can identify trends, and you can identify society, something that society needs, the money will come. And it strikes me that that's the single biggest thing that I've made my mistakes at and also learned my greatest lessons from, is trying to create and sell something that people didn't want. As soon as I discovered what people want, I'd adjust my approach.